Everybody, it's Batman, and today we're going to be doing another Naruto reaction video. I got my boy Ken Rock with me. You guys know the vibes. Make sure to check him out. Give him all the love and subscribe and support. You name it, he has his own videos as well. We're going to pull this through. We're checking out Loco the Loser, Loco the Bitch. And it's about OBITO versus KABUTO. So we're going to see what his thoughts are, you name it, etc. And either he has the right verdict, which would be OBITO, or he has the wrong verdict, which would be KABUTO. So
don't forget to pull it through Discord.
Yeah. Let me pull that through for you actually real quick. Let me do that real quick. Boop. So we're going to be checking that out, and that's going to basically be the vibe. Guys already know. And let me actually know if everything's good there, okay? Go away, Discord. Go away, you fucking... Alright, but let's do this shit, and let's get it. So, I'll be honest with you, wouldn't surprise me if he advocates for KABUTO, because Loco always just wants to take the most weirdest takes, but let's get it.
It's Loco, and today we're going to be talking about KABUTO versus Orange Mask Obito. I have my boy Lightning Snow with me today.
Okay, so it's Orange Mask Obito. That's understandable, okay?
What's up, guys? Back for another one.
He actually
I'd still go with Obito
recently on his channel. It's Orochimaru and KABUTO versus every Akatsuki duo. So if you're interested in another video about our boy KABUTO, go check out his channel. But I think KABUTO is like heavily underrated by the community. A lot of people tend to have a big misconception that like Itachi soloed him at any point during their fight, which I don't necessarily have.
No, absolutely. What Ken said. No, I don't think anybody underestimates Seijima KABUTO or thinks he's like, you know. Like, everybody understands he's very fucking powerful and has pretty cracked hacks abilities, but so I don't know about that one, but
it's one of those stupid things where like people don't underestimate him, but a lot of his fans want to put him up against like some really stupid people like Madara,
exactly,
like Itachi, Pain. It's like when people sit there and say like the best example I can think of is like when people take Kakuzu. It's like people aren't saying Kakuzu is weak. But stop trying to put him up against like Tobi Rama, Minato, and
yeah, exactly. Like, it's just fucking weird as shit. No, I agree.
I feel like KABUTO, Sasuke, and Itachi were all holding back by some extent. Like, obviously, Sasuke and Itachi couldn't like directly kill KABUTO because he was the caster of the Edo Tensei Jutsu. But at the same time, KABUTO didn't want to kill Sasuke because he wanted to like run tests on him, and he couldn't outright kill Itachi because his only win con against Itachi would be to put like the kunai thing in the back of his head so he could start controlling him once again. So I think everyone was kind of...
So that's not true. Seijima KABUTO could kill Itachi because that's the only way he could actually defeat him. He would have to take him out of commission and then utilize the kunai in his head. So that's not... I don't know what the fuck he's on about. Like, the only way that could be possible is if he, again, like, takes him out with a jutsu or hits him. Whatever way he fucking does it, he would have to land a hit on him. And what do you do to do that? You go all out and go at it, right? So Seijima KABUTO would definitely be going all out against Itachi. Itachi, he just can't kill Seijima KABUTO, but he could still be using his full speed, you name it, the whole fucking night. He just can't kill the guy, you know? And so on and so forth. So
I mean, even if they're all holding back, let's agree that they're all holding back. That just means they're still relative.
Exactly, you know what I mean? So there's that too. As for Sasuke, I believe he was trying to kill Sasuke at a certain point. Like, I think there was an initial point where he wasn't... No,
he launched his more powerful jutsus at him, but at no point did he try to kill him because Itachi says you can't kill him. And Sasuke's response is, I know, but he also has Orochimaru's abilities, so he won't be taken out so easily.
You know, I'm talking about like KABUTO to kill Sasuke.
Oh, no, that never happened either.
Okay, yeah. Because I'm pretty sure Seijima KABUTO could kill Sasuke, and he was trying to.
Oh, he definitely could. He wasn't worried about Sasuke. It was Itachi that was the problem.
Exactly. So...
he tried to sway Sasuke into helping him fight Itachi at the very beginning.
Yeah, so this is where we see Sasuke's still, like, over EMS. Sasuke, he smacks his shit away. Blah, blah, whatever... So in response to what they're saying so far in the beginning of the video, Ken is on the same boat. I disagree. I still do think Itachi was actually over the Seijima KABUTO. And the only reason is because when you analyze the entire context of the fight, Seijima KABUTO, at no point does it even show and imply he's trying to hold back against Itachi. He actually wants to take down Itachi and rewrite the tag, and this way he can capture Sasuke. Sasuke's the only one he's not trying to kill for whatever weird reason. I'm assuming it's, to get intel or something with his body. I don't fucking know. Maybe even absorb Sasuke's body, so he can get the Sharingan, the EMS, So, but at the end of the day, Itachi's blatantly, he would be above, because when I reviewed the whole fight, Itachi's literally bitching him. Like, he fucking outsmarts him, cuts his fucking horn and shit and whatnot, and the whole time he's setting up Izanami. This way he can deal with Kabuto, because one, he can't kill him, and two, he needs to counter Edo Tensei and save everyone in the war. Which the only way he can do that is either Genjutsu or Izanami. He can't do Genjutsu because Kabuto is covering his fucking eyes and shit. Okay, and basically the only way that'd be possible if he's able to literally grab him and then force him to look in his eyes. But that wouldn't be possible because Kabuto's at least relative. I will admit that he's relative, but Itachi is faster. So really, in theory, the only way Itachi could deal with, like, if he could just kill him, he would just Totsuka blade him, whatever, or just kill him, in any normal convention. But because he can't kill him, and he doesn't have enough time just, like, to force him look in his eyes or some shit, right? He has to use Izanami. That's the only fucking way. And to do
Kabuto's blind. It's not that his eyes are closed. He's blinded.
Oh, yeah. There's that, too. So, like, so never mind. So, yeah. So, fucking, he's literally blind or whatever, and so on and so forth. So, no matter what, direct eyesight, that's just not going to work, right? And obviously, normal Genjutsu wouldn't be effective. Otherwise, he would have just done that, right? So, no matter what, he can't do visual Genjutsu because he's countering it. He can't do normal Genjutsu with fingers and shit or whatever, because otherwise he would have done that. So, meaning he has to use Izanami, which doesn't require eye contact. It's a forbidden Genjutsu with the MS. And there you go, right? And then now, fucking, you're set. So,
well, think of it this way. Sorry to interrupt you, but the fact that he blinded himself means that he believes that Itachi is fast enough and capable of putting him under Genjutsu.
Exactly, So,
not Obito, Kabuto. Obito considered Itachi a threat to him. And Obito pulled up to this man when he pulled out all the Akatsuki members, and he was just like, yeah, I'll still take you.
Exactly. Yep. No, exactly. Because when you analyze the Orange Mask interaction, like, Kabuto is like, he jumps back, summons Edo Tensei, whatever, when Obito charges at him, and then Obito stops for a moment just to see what's going on. He sees the entire fucking Akatsuki, and even then, he's still willing to throw hands and thinks he can win, and so on and so forth. So again, I think that says enough. While the entire narrative, even sick Itachi, Obito was actually scared to actually confront and do a fight, or by any means necessary, and so on and so forth. Like, it was just blatantly emphasized and implied. The entire narrative, he didn't want to fuck with Itachi. There's multiple statements verbatim, so on and so forth. And when Itachi finally died, then he's finally like, oh, that ice sword, nothing can stop me now. Blah, blah. Now we can finally, make moves against Konoha, you name it, so on and so forth. And Zetsu was like, yeah, but with the amount of time we had to wait or whatever, it kind of like, made things really rough for us, whatever. And he's like, it was worth the risk and wait, Or he said it was worth the wait or whatever, blah, blah, not the risk, my bad. So, overall, like, that's kind of what you're working. The fact that Obito thought Itachi was so much of a threat that he couldn't even do anything and he had to basically obey Itachi as a pseudo-leader, if that makes sense, I think that says more than enough. And from day one, it was always in a similar regard with that as well. Even when we had Yellow Mask Obito with Itachi, like, he's always acknowledged Itachi's power from the get-go, So there's that into consideration as well, and that's...
That man instantly, like, right before he even made the Akatsuki, he went straight to Itachi and was like, yeah, I need this man on my side.
Exactly, and then on top of it, just to further collaborate this notion, you also have it was when he got hit by Amaterasu in close range. He said if Itachi knew everything about him, he would certainly be dead. And that's when he's gone. Like, so it's like, again, Itachi, he's that guy, bro,
I don't even think it was everything. I think he just says if he knew more.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry to interrupt it.
Before we started recording, these are two examples of characters that kind of are walking hexes. It's like, I know, like, Itachi and Sasuke, quote, beat Kabuto, but they literally had to rely on what you could maybe call a cheat code to win.
But lucky for Obito, he has like a really good counter to Kabuto, which is Kamui. Like, how would Kabuto be able to bypass the intangibility that Obito is known for? Like, the main thing I bet people will bring up in the comments is like, isn't like Obito prepared to solo Kabuto and the entire Edo Tensei Akatsuki members? And I just think that interpretation is entirely false. You're really downplaying Kabuto and the rest of the Akatsuki there, because obviously, you know, a lot of people think like Itachi versus Obito is a very contentious fight, and Itachi was one of the people that Kabuto brought back. So for you to believe that Obito could solo not only Kabuto but the rest of the Edo Akatsuki, which includes Nagato and Itachi,
I'll pause it
it's just
real
kind of
quick because when he's saying this, because he's trying to say like because Itachi and Obito are equal, then he has a chance. He has other ways of taking care of the Edo Tensei just besides taking them out like that. Because he has sealing jutsus, he can Kamui them away and then take care of them. When he uses the hand signs for the Edo Tensei to actually bring them back, like Obito's going to seal that with the Sharingan, so he could like perform the jutsu itself and take him over. Like there's several ways that Obito could do that. You can also just Kamui Obito out of the fight as well, and take him.
Yeah, the problem, what I see with it is the reason why Obito probably still wanted to fight Kabuto at this point was if you take a look at the Edos, they're clearly not in commission yet. Like, you know what I mean? They're not like ready to go. So like there is a question whether if he already put the kunai in them already, regardless if it's in or not, Obito probably, because Obito is really fucking fast. You know what I mean? He's at least in the KCM ballpark or above slightly. But either way, like Obito's really fast. He's no slouch himself. He probably just thought he could just speed blitz Kabuto before he could even utilize Edo Tensei, you know? Now, if we're talking about like the Edo Tensei and Kabuto at the same time, sure, I would be in a similar alignment with what Loco is saying as well. I don't think that would be possible, because and that's mainly because of Nagato and Itachi being there. The other ones are just fodders, if I'm being honest with you. But fucking at the end of the day, like that's the problem. Like we don't really know a lot when it comes to this moment. It's a very short and brief moment that occurs. If the kunais are in their heads, Kabuto's fucked. It makes no difference. He's not going to have enough time to do anything. He's going to be pressed by Obito the whole time and just get blitzed. If the kunais are already on there, they're clearly not activated yet. So Kabuto would have to literally activate them first and then use them as well. So there's that too, you know. So overall, that's probably why Obito.
And if he does that, Obito's going to be able to see him do the hand. And like I said before, because Madara even makes reference that if anyone knows the hand signs, they can either undo it or they can take him.
Yeah, so there's that too, you know. So that's kind of the issue. I think that would be the logical explanation for why Obito was still willing to throw hands. Now, if they were already on, then at that point, yeah, because everything in connection to Itachi, Obito probably wouldn't want to do it anymore, and he'd probably just calmly away. And he's like, all right, I got you next time, bitch, or some shit, right? You know, and that's basically it. You know, and that's basically what you're working with. But then, you know, so that's kind of what you have. Now, I will say this. You guys are probably like, wait, but what about the Madara moment then, you know? So when Kabuto brings out Madara after, and then Obito's finally like, oh, fuck you, bastard, whatever you name it, there is that moment too, you know, to where same thing would apply. Like, Madara is not activated as well. I will say this for why Obito still stopped. You know, at the end of the day, it's Madara, right? You know, when it comes to Madara, he's no fucking joke. He's like on a whole other tier, and he's always that guy, right? So Obito just probably had so much respect and fear and regard for Madara. That's why he didn't want to even take any risk whatsoever. The fact that he had Madara to begin with, it was just like an immediate like, yeah, let me just for now be in a neutral state and see what I can do and try to, you know, outgame Kabuto, right? You know, since he has that as a weapon, you know. It was more of fear and acknowledgement, and that's kind of where I'm getting at with. So overall, like, this whole scene is very, very interesting, but, you know, at the end of the day, when it comes to Orange Mask Obito, he would be above Sagemon Kabuto. Like, he just has to. He's within, like, we see blatantly what Itachi's able to do to him in that fight, you know, where he's able to fight Kabuto, cut his horn off, like, casually and speed blitz him and shit. All the other moments that he creates, and he's, you know, so I just feel like there's plenty enough context to confirm Itachi was over Sagemon Kabuto, and obviously Obito would be in a similar ballpark, so he therefore should just be able to do the same, you know. But
I'm under the impression that the reason why he didn't want him to activate Madara because he didn't want Madara to be involved with the plan that he was doing.
Yeah.
Because it seems pretty clear that he wanted to be the one to use the Suknu Yomi.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
first place, especially when Obito never really said that he would be able to beat any of them in the first place. Like, he never really even puts up any resistance towards Kabuto. The only thing he says is like, what if I refuse to let you help me in this war? That's literally the only thing he says. The rest of the time, he's just asking questions like, what's in it for me? Why do you want to join me in the first place? Like, he's literally just bargaining back and forth with Kabuto, and he's just using these techniques to get a better deal with him. So I really don't think Obito, with only his orange mask, not even the Rinnegan, is capable of taking down Kabuto and the rest of the high tier Akatsuki members, but that's just my interpretation.
I mean, maybe it's more of like it's Kabuto and Itachi plus, you know, 3 other, you know, high level ninja, don't get me wrong, but they can't really do a whole lot against this Obito. So maybe if Obito was talking out of his butt, you know, on the side of like, okay, well, I could still go toe to toe with you, maybe it would be enough to shut Kabuto down. But I'm still on the side of like all 5 of them plus Kabuto himself would be a little bit too much for Obito to handle. Probably rip him apart for the most part.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, the other 4 Akatsuki members that were present were not at their full strength. But I think Obito would have a hard time making it past Itachi, let alone the rest of the Akatsuki along with Kabuto, especially because Obito implies that he wasn't going to like fight them right there and then. Like, he says, quarreling with you now would only lower my battle strength. You timed your visit so precisely. What a meticulous planner. Which just implies that he might be planning to use his 100,000 white Zetsu to actually fight Kabuto a little bit later instead of just fighting him right there and then. He also calls Kabuto very formidable. So it's just like, you can see that Obito doesn't really want to smoke with Kabuto right now.
What does any of this have to do with the one-on-one?
Yeah, exactly. This is after they're agreeing to work together and so on and so forth. If you analyze the entire fucking interaction, whatever you name it, the way it goes, Kabuto's there, he tries to reason with Obito. Obito's like, nope, fuck you, I'm killing you. He charges, he does the Edo Tensei. Obito's like, bitch, what is this to me? And because Kabuto gives him a proposition, and he's like, and if I refuse, he's like, and whatever. And then Obito is like still gonna charge him and kill him. Then Kabuto has to summon Madara to force him to not try to kill him. And then he's like, you cannot refuse me or whatever, blah blah. And that's basically what's happening. All like that whole entire interaction. And then he's like, damn you, like, you know, whatever. Where'd you get that from? You know, that's basically all that happens. And then they have like conversations after. So this doesn't fucking matter. Like, all this is absolutely bullshit. This has nothing to do with Obito's original intentions, which was to kill Seijumo Kabuto. So I don't agree with that at all.
Like, even if we agree, and I for the sake of argument, I'll agree that like Obito like would lose like this interaction specifically. Yeah. Like, all you're telling me though is that Kabuto believed that he needed the reinforcement.
Exactly. No, literally, and then that's the only like. And I'll say this too. Here's the funny part. Like, if Obito, because it's the problem too. The reason why Obito probably even had confidence to take on the Akatsuki as well, because yeah, Itachi's dangerous, Nagato, whatever, blah blah. But Kamui is still extremely fucking beneficial against a group of people as well. Like, again, if he has Kamui already on, what the fuck do? They can't hit him. They can't hit him.
He also he also still theoretically has all the other tail beasts in his back pocket.
Yeah, and that too.
Because you got to remember that he didn't get those from Kabuto. He already had them. He's the one who put them back in the
yeah, exactly. So it's like, at the end of the day, like, he also has like the Bijus as well. Like, at any point he could literally just get those Bijus and control them as well, you know, and have them participate in the fight. Like, there's many ways he could angle this, you know, and that's the issue. Like, Kamui is extremely beneficial here, because even if he uses the Akatsuki or whatever, they can't hit him until he materializes, and he could stay in Kamui for 5 fucking minutes, and that's pretty impressive, you know what I mean? So, like, and that's actually really, like, a big deal, because we know these ninja are, like, moving really fucking fast, too. So 5 minutes goes a long fucking way. That gives Obito plenty of time to gauge, to understand what he's working with and dealing with, and whether or not he could actually be able to win that fight. And again, that's probably why he was still willing to engage with Kabuto and just kill him, because if he's able to, if the Edo Tensei were at least weak enough or whatever, or depending on how it was, whatever, once he gauges, he could be able to know whether or not he could deal with it. But that's the thing, he didn't know at first, because he's not using them yet, which is why he thought potentially he could do it. Again, an example in part 1, when Orochimaru does Edo Tensei, they are nowhere near their full fucking strength. Like, the most biggest nerf we've ever seen with Edo Tensei. So, again, like, Obito at least has somewhat knowledge about Edo Tensei. He didn't know everything about it, because that's the whole point of him forcing Kabuto to tell him. But there's that as well, you know. So overall, that's kind of all I'm getting at. We'll let this kind of go because I know it's only been 4 minutes and we've been kind of, but this is important to discuss and understand. So overall, like, you know, this is kind of what you're working with. Like, Conway's a big fucking deal. So basically, the way I see it is if they were powerful enough and he had proper gauge and he's like, okay, yeah, Itachi and Nagato and what's it, I can't do this, I'm gonna have to dip. Then all he does is face through the ground and he's gone, and that's it. He's gone, you know. And that's probably what would have more than likely happened. He would have still tried to kill him, whatever. You know, he tries to respond with the Akatsuki, whatever. Obito's using Kamui. They can't hit him or anything because Kamui's at least blatantly to 6-path Jubi Madara. If you don't agree with that, at least bare minimum to KCM 2 Naruto. At least, okay? It's over KCM 2 Naruto, actually. And that would be way beyond of what we've seen what Nagato or Itachi can do. So, at the end of the day, that's just kind of what you're working with, and that's why, again, Obito would be perfectly fine. So he's not just going to get shitted on or whatever, you know, and that's kind of what you're working with. But, you know, yeah.
Powers, like, he doesn't know Kabuto has access to perfect Sage Mode. Like, I'd say the best thing, the most ground you could give Obito is that, like, he might know about Orochimaru's powers, and he might just assume Kabuto is, like, on a similar level, which is just blatantly false. We know that Kabuto is stronger than Orochimaru. This has been stated several times.
He actually probably does know about Orochimaru's powers.
He was never able to become, and he stated to surpass Orochimaru entirely several other times throughout the series. So it's like, even if you do think that Obito was planning on defeating Kabuto with no help from the other 100,000 white Zetsu that he possesses, he doesn't even know how strong Kabuto truly is at this point. So I don't think that you would be able to use this encounter alone.
He did know how strong he did know how strong he was. At least when he was standing there. That's blatantly incorrect. Shinobi are able to gauge each other's strengths just by fucking looking at each other and not even saying any words. Sasuke says that in the fucking final valley at the end. You can gauge someone's strength just by fucking looking at them and their presence, you name it, the whole fucking nine. So that's not true. The fact that Obito was willing to kill him immediately, he whips out the Akatsuki, still fucking fight him and test the waters, I feel like that's enough reassurance that he had some gauge or value of Kabuto's current strength at that point in time. You know, now to say Sage Mode Kabuto, obviously no, because he's not in Sage Mode at that moment. But at least that Kabuto, he definitely knew what he was working with, you know. So I disagree completely. But
well, it's a bit of a red herring as well, because people aren't gauging Obito's reaction and saying, oh, he can beat Kabuto because of this. People are gauging Kabuto's reaction on what Obito is doing. And Obito knows his own strength. He knows he has Sage Mode. He knows what he has at his position. He's still like, okay, I need to back up and get an army ready.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, so like, yeah, I disagree with that completely. You know, that's kind of what and again, like what Ken said, to back him up further, the fact that Kabuto doesn't even go into Sage Mode immediately and is like, all right, let's fucking fight, bitch, or whatever you name it. Like, I'm gonna take your body, whatever, yada yada. He doesn't do that. He tries to back up and reason with the guy, and even use the Akatsuki to make him in fear and force him to work. Obito's still like, nah, bitch, that ain't enough. I'm gonna kill you. And then literally he has to pull out Madara to stop him. So again, there's plenty of emphasis to show that this Kabuto would definitely lose to Orange Mask Obito if it's a 1v1. If it's a 1v1, abso-fucking-lutely. You know what I mean? If it's the Akatsuki there, that's a hit and miss, you know what I mean? Whatever. And Obito would make the decision once he's able to gauge and see what he's working with. And again, he has that luxury because of Kamui. Okay? If he didn't have Kamui, then he wouldn't even risk it at all. Because again, Itachi's there and he'd be like, yeah, Itachi's kind of that guy, I'm good, you know? So, again, I just, yeah, no.
Evidence to say Obito would be able to take him down, like, definitively.
No, I agree. So, I mean, at that point, it would really just come down to who can win in the fight against Sage Kabuto and Orange Mask Obito.
Yeah, so that conclusion is absolutely nonsense. And I'll even show this really quick as well. Just to, like, you know, to put the cherry on the top, because, like, I don't know what crack Loco is smoking or whatever. I don't really know that much about Lightning Snow, and I don't really care, but
what's that other guy on about? Because he said it comes down to, like, Sage Mode Kabuto versus Obito. Is that not what this video's been about?
Literally.
See, that's the title of the video.
I don't know. I don't know. If you're a traitor, and the rule of the Akatsuki is if you're a traitor, you die. So, if you guys don't know that, you're come on. Everybody knows that. So, and then basically he charges at him. Kabuto jumps back as well. And he summons Edo Tensei. And Obito could have kept moving, But then he sees what is shotting and he's like, wait a minute, I know that. He's like, okay, let me see. He's curious now. He's like, let me see what's going on. So he stops. Mind you, he could have kept moving and speed blitz Kabuto right here and then. Like, he literally could have just kept running forward with that KCM level of speed or above. He could have just easily phased through that Edo Tensei shit too and bam, comboed his bitch ass. He could have killed him right there and then, but he stops. He's like, wait a minute, And he's just curious. He stops or whatever. He's like, this is Edo Tensei. He sees all that or whatever. And he's like, I surpass both of them in ways as well, blah, blah. This is merely a performance for your benefit so that you would believe my power and trust in me. And he's like, and then Obito says, please be at ease. Kabuto. He says, please be at ease. I have not come here to fight you. And then Obito says, then what do you want? He's like, I want to join you. So Obito stops in his tracks because he's curious to see why Kabuto is doing what he's doing. And then he's like, join forces, whatever. He says, I offer you strength, the Edo Tensei, blah, blah. And then Obito's like, and in return, you want to Chia Sasuke. And he's like, what are you plotting, whatever, blah, blah. So they're talking, yada, yada, which is not important. Okay. Yeah, so right here. So then he says, that's going to be really necessary for part of my research. Desire to live in Chia young body. Yes, he wants Sasuke, whatever. And Obito's like, and if I were to refuse. And then, so meaning like Obito was still not convinced and just wanted, he's going to basically still decide to kill Kabuto. But he says, if I were to refuse, then Kabuto does the thing again. Mind you, Obito is letting him do it. He could easily kill him. And then he's like, did you really think I would approach you without a hidden move? Right there. This is a concession. Right here. That's a fucking concession that he can't beat Orange Mask Obito. He says, did you really think I would approach you without a hidden move? That's right, you cannot refuse me. And then he's like, grr, where did you get that? He's like, I have my means, don't worry, I haven't told anyone else. So,
you know what else I just thought of that people keep forgetting as well? Is you can stop on a reanimation being active.
Hiruzen does it to
Orochimaru.
Yeah, he does the shit. That's what I'm saying. Like, Obito literally could have killed Kabuto right there and then. He could have just stopped it. He could have fucking done the same thing Hiruzen did, whatever, you name it. Like, this is fucking Obito trained by Madara for crying out loud, okay? He would definitely have that knowledge too. Like, you know what I mean? He doesn't do anything. And then Obito is still able to do it. He's like, and if I refuse, like, what else? And then he does that shit. And he's like, did you really think I would approach you without a hidden move? This is literally a concession. Kabuto knows that he would have lost against Orange Mask Obito without Madara. You know what I mean? Without Madara. Like, in a 1v1 against each other, he would lose. He literally says that right there, bro. So, like, there's no argument here. Like, that's... To me, that's plenty enough, and even if Kabuto was able to somehow get the Edo Tensei off, which I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think he'd be able to do that, because if you literally just seen everything I just showed you, like, Obito could have still been able to blitz him at any fucking point in time, exactly what Hiruzen does to stop whatever, blah, blah, he could have done the same. So, at the end of the day, even if he somehow pulled the Edo Tensei, guess all Obito has to do? Calm me under the ground, leave. The moment Kabuto thinks, oh, he's retreated or he left, whatever, he makes the Edo Tensei go away. He comes right fucking back, kills Kabuto. That's all he has to do. Like,
Another way of looking at it as well, because within this, what you're showing, we know Kabuto once is a living Uchiha, because he wants to continue doing what Orochimaru was doing. He has a stronger Uchiha than Sasuke in front of him. So if he could take him, why wouldn't
Exactly. So that's basically what I'm getting at. So overall, like, I don't agree with that. With the whole interaction, it was blatantly clear Orange Mask Obito was above Kabuto. Blatantly clear. He literally concedes it himself. Okay? So that's kind of what you're working with. And that was the only reason why Kabuto approached Obito, because he had Madara. If he didn't, even he thought he would be cooked. So...
mentioned this earlier, but to make this a little bit more tough for Kabuto, we're not going to let him have any access to his other Edo Tensei. None of them. Not Madara, not Itachi. It is literally just going to be Kabuto by himself going up against Obito. So is his Snake Sage mode really enough?
I will say this too, though. Madara would have also backfired as well if he did that, because Madara would have been up, and then he'd have been like, what the fuck? He's like, Obito, why am I being up against you? And then he would just, like, break out of it, and he would just help Obito, and then now Obito is forced to basically work with Madara, and then literally everything just really goes to shit for the whole world because now Madara is there without even the war being prepped or whatever. Everybody's fucked at that point. Like, I'm not lying. If that fight actually continued or whatever, or if Kabuto didn't care and just wanted to try to kill Obito, it would have backfired. Madara would have just teamed up with Obito and he would have killed Kabuto right there and then. So, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So yeah, at the end of the day, we can't even like include this because if we're talking about in character, that's literally how it goes. You know, obviously if it's bloodlusted and none of that happens, then yeah, obviously Madara would beat Obito. But fucking, you know, that's it. So
himself. But I think we can start getting into the scaling of both of these characters. I guess we could start off with Obito because he's a little bit easier to scale since we don't really know much about him at this point in the series. Obviously, he was able to tangle with the 4th Hokage Minato, which is still an incredibly impressive feat. But me personally,
Obito greater than Nine Tails.
That Minato's speed doesn't really scale anywhere in terms of his actual travel speed or his physical movement speed. Minato is more so renowned for his FTG, which is his instantaneous teleportation. So I have a whole nother video discussing like where Minato is scale and speed. It's called Naruto versus Minato. So I guess you guys.
Motherfucker just said Minato's only relevant because of Flying Regiment. Are you fucking on crack, bro? Did you not read the series? This motherfucker, he's not relevant just because of Flying Raijin. That would be counterintuitive. So literally, if you actually read the fucking series, he's relevant because his body speed is also really fucking fast in correlation to Flying Raijin as well. We've seen that with the Nine Tails in this incident. He's able to use fucking body flicker, teleportation, and his combat, everything. All the speed all around. He's able to save Baby Naruto or whatever. And then with the paper bounce on the blanket, then he has to use Flying Raijin. Uses his body speed again. Jumps away, saves infant Naruto. There's plenty of times where he's using his body speed to save Kushina and Naruto without Flying Raijin. Just putting that out there. And there's plenty of times he fights Obito without Flying Raijin. And they're basically equal to each other, okay? They can't really do anything because he can't do anything against Kamui, and Obito basically, you know, can't do anything because of Minato scaling and then Flying Raijin out of it as well. So that's not fucking true. And if you even see like the war with Kakashi and all that, same shit. He's killing everybody with his body speed, teleporting in conjunction with Flying Raijin. So that's just not true. Like again, that Tobirama, he's another example. He's fighting whatever, he does Flying Raijin, then uses his body speed to do the fatal blow. Like, your body speed at least has to be in some sense of regard compatible when you're using the arts of teleportation. Otherwise, it won't do anything. It basically what would happen, it'd be like Jubi Madara to Sage Minato. He teleports Flying Raijin, bam, gets Speed Blitz right after, right? Because that initial moment after you TP, now it's up to your body scaling. So if your body scaling is not at least relevant, you're going to get Speed Blitz or easily avoided like what Jubi Madara did, or better yet, like what Alive Madara does to Tobirama when he tries to teleport on him. So, like, I don't know what the fuck he's on about. Like, that's blatantly not the case whatsoever. But anyways.
Well, even, like, Minato in the, like, while he was still, like, in, like, the, academy was able to Speed Blitz, like, multiple, tunings. No problem.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and another moment is when he fights the Raikage, he does Flying Raijin, and then teleports back to the Raikage, and then literally, right when he teleports, he's immediately moving his body and about to stab his spine. So, like, if he wasn't fast or anything, basically Minato would be, like, moving in slow motion right after he used Flying Raijin, and he's nowhere near to even grab the kunai or nothing, right? He's just struggling to move, and then all Raikage has to do is turn around and fucking kill him. Like, but that didn't happen. Like, so I don't know what the fuck Loco's on about. Again, stop trying to downplay Minato. I know you hate Minato in pain, but like, you know, I'm just saying, bro. You'll be sucking some Sasuke dick all day, but if it's Minato or pain, you have this weird ass racist amp or something. I don't fucking know.
After this video, and maybe you could see why I think Minato isn't particularly fast when it comes to like his running speed. So
what? Yeah, he did.
I mean, I don't care about his running.
It's just so dishonest though, because he has so many feats of it being very impressive. Like, what? Like, shit.
Like, even before we, like, knew about him having the Flying Thunder God, like, Jiraiya left the house, it's like, yeah, he was, like, near unbeatable.
Literally, like, everybody praised him. Hiruzen, Jiraiya, they all praised him, like, as this motherfucker was, like, a god in comparison. Like,
Tsunade.
yeah, he just built, Tsunade, everybody, bro. Like, even Anko was like, oh my god, if only the 4th Hokage was here, because we know Hiruzen, you're not strong enough to beat Orochimaru now. You know, like, it's like, bro, this guy is just on crack, bro. I don't, like...
A praised him as well, and he didn't even know about Well, he knew about Flying Thunder God, but he didn't know about stuff like Snake.
Yeah, like yeah,
That
even
either.
Ace said it. He's like, yeah, now that the fourth Hokage is dead, I am the fastest ninja. There was no shinobi that was greater than him. Like he was like fuck, he was that guy. You know what I mean? Ever since he died, now whatever, blah blah. Now it's me, right? I'm the big guy, right? So
Like BC's like Naruto like transforming to Cassian for the first time, and he's just like, wow, he's moving just like the yellow.
literally, like I'll never understand the nonsense from these fucking Minato haters. If it like Noodles and Loco, they're so fucking retarded. Like if Minato was only relevant because of flying Raijin, everybody would kill him then. like like he wouldn't have a chance. Like he has to be fast with his body. If he's not, it makes no fucking difference, bro. Like and better yet, and if we're counting Edo Minato, which I'm eventually going to make a video about it. I do think Edo Minato is actually stronger than Alive Minato. That's just me. I'm not going to explain why. But if we're counting Edo Minato as well, that motherfucker, without flying Raijin, is also way fucking faster. Than even the first Hokage, he was way faster. So just saying.
He is impressive because Minato is considered to be like greater than that of the Sannin. But at the same time, Minato did kind of bully him pretty badly. So unironically, I believe Obito's best feat throughout the series would be blocking a
Minato
sword
didn't
strike.
bully Obito back. What the fuck is he on about? The fuck? When you say somebody bullies someone badly, that's like some Kakashi to Part 1 Sasuke type shit, like stomping his head on his fucking head, so on and so forth, you name it, blah, blah. Like, they had a pretty contentious battle. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I mean, that Obito was also focused on controlling the Nine Tails.
Yeah, and that too, like, he was controlling the Nine Tails one. To be fair, Minato was going through a lot of fucking chakra as well, But, because he was having to deal with the Nine Tails, you name it. So, at the end of the day, it was fair game for either or, right? They're both consuming a bunch of chalk, whatever. But it was a very competitive fight. They were both going back and forth the entire fucking time. And then Minutes was like, all right, it's just going to boil down to a second, faster. Whoever's faster at that exact moment wins, right? So, it was definitely a close battle. Like, I don't know what he's on about bullying. And that's another thing I forgot.
He did kind of bully him towards the end, but at the beginning, it was definitely
Yeah. Like towards the end, like he bullies him for a moment, but like to just say like as an overall, general consensus.
But that's after he gets that one move in that he was talking
Yeah,
about.
exactly. So it's like this is a bunch of bullshit. But that's all I'm getting at. It was a pretty close fight. Like a lot of people try to say Minato dominated completely, but that's not true. So.
If Obito had gotten that one move in first, it would have went the other way, and he probably would have been the one bullying.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So it was definitely, definitely a contentious fight for sure.
People downplay
and one last thing before we move on. I know I'm doing a lot of pauses, so I apologize, guys. But that's another thing too. Loco also doesn't like Obito. He calls him Slobito. He thinks Obito's also fucking trash. So just FYI.
But they really don't know that he's built like that. He was actually blocking strikes from the version 1 Raikage during the
That's
Kage
also
Summit.
not true. Again, that's not true at all. This is V1 Raikage, and he's not even using his full speed when he does this. He's actually doing a combo attack with his team, okay? And they're all striking, whatever, blah, blah. And then Sugetsu's over here shitting his pants, like what monstrous power, sweating, whatever. He immediately breaks that sword in half. Sugetsu has to run away. And then when Jugo transforms into a CM2 and says, I'm going to kill you all, whatever, Raikage gets pissed off. He gets bloodlusted, and he's like, you need to know your fucking place. And he just bullies them all. Absolutely slams them all in fucking V1. Sasuke was only able to react to V1 full power Raikage because of precog, and he was moving at a distance. And so he's able to successfully dodge and land a blow. But the moment he lands that blow, in the moment he's in close quarters now, where it's not a long distance and he can't even use the shotting gun anymore to the precog, he immediately gets speed blitzed by V1 Raikage and then gets slammed on the ground. It would have died right there and then, but of course he had Sasano and the MS to save him. So no, like, none of those motherfuckers scaled to V1 Raikage. To a holding back V1 Raikage, sure, by all means. Like, well, who knows where that scales, right? Sugetsu level and Jugo level, wow, who cares? Fucking B and base was shitting on those motherfuckers. Like, Sugetsu and Jugo level is not impressive, bro. So.
I mean, if you want to talk impressive, Obito blocks him with one arm.
Literally.
He literally just...
let's forget that, too, right? Like, are they even going to mention that? When Obito just casually blocks his shit and Sugetsu's like, what the fuck with one arm? Like, huh?
stops all of A's momentum in his fist and kind of just outspeeds him really badly. And for those of you that don't know, Version 1 Raikage was kind of beating up KCM1 Naruto really badly.
I'm sorry, I paused it one last time. And this will be the last time I have you pause at least for a little bit. But that would mean, like, again, like what I said, that would have, like, Obito, like, massively above this as well. Because Obito goes in and he blocks this Sugetsu with, like, one hand while he's using his execution blade. So you would have, like, Obito, like, above, like, A, above, like, Kabuto.
This shit is just so ass. It's so fucking ass, bro. Like, let me get this real quick. I have, he speed blitzes White Zetsu. Now, it's White Zetsu, so it's not that impressive. But look at even Zetsu, and he's in base. He's like, this guy is super fast. He doesn't say that about anybody else. But he says that about the Raikage, bro. He's over here like, what the fuck? And he was bloodlusted in this moment when he grabbed him. And he's in base, remind you. Like, and Zetsu's over here shitting his pants. A lot of people also forget that too, but just want to point that out there. Able to speed blitz a stronger Sasuke, by the way, compared to Hebi. That happens with Jutsu. You know, just saying. We know the Raikage is the strongest in the village, so on and so forth. This is the moment that Loco's talking about. So it goes, whatever he hits. Look at Sugetsu's face. Look at that. He's barely hanging on. You know, what monstrous power immediately gets overpowered. He jumps out of the way before getting slammed on the ground. Oh, actually, yeah, no, his arms took damage. Look at that. If it weren't made of water, both my arms would have been wrenched off, you know. So Sugetsu's not even holding back Raikage level. Like, when it comes to, like, the speed moment, yeah, he's fast enough to get there and then, like, block. But the moment he blocks, he literally says that right there. If they weren't made of water, it would have been torn off. Just from Raikage's power hitting his block. So, like, if he was a normal dude, he literally would have lost his arms. And this is a holding back V1 Raikage. Okay? Then he reattaches his arms, whatever, you name it. Okay, the fight continues. Let me pull this through. Like, again, like, this motherfucker is just ratting his ass off. So, like, right here. Then Jugo talks shit. He's like, you need to learn your place. Now he's bloodlust. You can even see his eyes and shit. He's fucking pissed. And then he moves, whatever. Now they're like, he's fast. Because, again, now he's using his max V1 power. And he immediately slams Jugo into the wall. And then Jugo does, like, he like, blocks it. Like, Jugo's actually impressive. Jugo with his CM2 transformation is actually pretty fucking cracked. I think he's underrated, but he's able to block at least, but he's still getting overpowered and, you know, and just completely slammed, right? And even Jugo is, like, just not on Raikage's level. Like, he was at least relative to block, but he's not even on his level because he gets blatantly overpowered and immediately subdued. Look at that. Bam, just done. He couldn't fuck with him. He's like one down or whatever, you know? Then Jugo tries to respond, whatever. He tanks the explosion. Then it goes on. He's like, I killed him, whatever. He comes back, elbows him, and now Jugo's out of the fight. Immediately done. Literally, like, low diffed Jugo, basically. Okay, if you don't want to say no diff, you at least low diffed him. Jugo was the actual only one that could actually block the attack. Okay? And that was in, like, his full power state, remind you. And then basically they go. Sasuke tries to attack him from behind. He's looking at him. Immediately dodges the attack, turns around. Then he does a Chidori. He uses his precognition, which is the only reason he could dodge it. Okay, it's kind of similar to the Gaara fight all over again in the forest. If he didn't have the Sharingan, he'd be dead. It's the same exact emphasis. Okay? And then literally because now he's in close range in this vicinity, he immediately gets speed blitzed. Immediately. Just picks him up, overpowers him, and would have killed him right there and then. So they're not on V1 Raikage's level. So again, he is lying his ass off right now.
His mental amp against the Raikage, whatever you think about that. So I'd say Obito would scale to like the KCM1 tiers, quote unquote, with a more generous interpretation. Obviously, since he was able to stop Suigetsu's sword swing, that is a very impressive feat since Suigetsu was able to like match the
Motherfucker
Raikage's
says
strength.
Generous to Obito. Like, that's another thing. He
Man even referenced what I was talking about.
Yeah, like, he's contradicting himself and then being a hypocrite at the same time. How the fuck you gonna stroke Suigetsu's dick for a holding back V1 Raikage, mind you. You can't even, like, argue everything correctly either. But you like, let's say we grant that. You stroke his dick, okay? But then Obito does the same, even better, okay? And, oh, that's whatever, you know. If we're being generous, we can have interpretations on the same level. What the fuck? Oh, man. Like, here's another thing that pisses me off, too. Yellow Mask Obito was already KCM level. Because I guess he forgets everything about Minato, right? You know, you name it. That was Yellow Mask. Then years go by, and now we have Orange Mask. So to some extent, I'm not saying he's, like, leagues beyond KCM level, but at least to some extent, he should be at least more stronger, right? Slightly over than what he was as Yellow Mask. Wouldn't that make sense, right? You know? People get stronger over time. Like, you would have to argue Obito got weaker or stayed the same, and there's no way you could do that or prove that. So, anyways.
But this is about where Orange Mask Obito would cap off.
But the fact that he was able to like avoid attacks from every single one of the Konoha team that was trying to find Sasuke, like he was just toying around with them, and he still was just not like worried in the slightest. He was avoiding every attack they had. He avoided.
I just realized
Kage. He beat.
He has Obito at KCM, but apparently Minato isn't.
Yep.
Fu and Torine with like minimal effort. So it's just like one of those things where it's like these two, they're juggernauts in their own respective way. You know, Kabuto is a tank, where Obito is more like the sweeper, like assassin type. You know, get the job done in the lickety split. You know, so this fight it will be all kinds of crazy in my opinion.
Yeah, the main thing about Obito is that a lot of people tend to like confuse like his feats, because you really can't scale Obito to like the war arc version of himself after he gets the Rinnegan. A lot of people think that the only thing he got from the Rinnegan were like the obvious abilities, like the hack stuff, like, but he also got a sizable increase in his strength and speed. There's actually a statement.
I would like the proof for that.
Yeah, that's not true. That's not true. If anything, it's actually the exact opposite. Because for one, using the Rinnegan, it's extremely fucking taxing on your stamina and chakra, just like Kakashi with the Sharingan, because he's not the user of the eye. Two, Obito even says verbatim that he was almost losing himself because of how much power the eye had, which is why he couldn't even use the second Rinnegan, because he actually wanted to use both of them. Okay. Three, when we literally see Obito using the Rinnegan, controlling all the tail beasts, whatever you name it, blah, blah, the motherfucker got so weak where base Kakashi and base Guy are equal to him. Those motherfuckers. Okay? Like, come on. like what we doing, bro? Okay, that's not true at all. He does not actually get stronger from the fucking Rinnegan. It's actually technically does the opposite. Now, like if you're talking about like Obito acquiring the Rinnegan and not doing all the tail beast shit he said, whatever, blah blah, maybe like the beginning amount of time he has a fair shot to at least have his stats for a certain amount of time, right? And then after a certain amount of time, then now he gets weaker and weaker, and now it's just up to his Kamui basically to save the fucking day, or Rinnegan abilities. So, but, you know, to say, like, the Obito during the war that whole time, hell no. You can never be able to prove that. So, I agree with Ken.
Which states that Obito, after obtaining the Rinnegan, is growing even closer to perfection, which would just mean that he's obviously stronger than he was before. And on top of this, Obito states
where do you get that? People talk about reading it like what you want it to say into it. Like, coming closer to perfection doesn't mean that.
It's not even saying that. Like, in that regard. Again, we're talking about interpretation here, right? And so on and so forth. That could mean many fucking things. Imperfection to whatever the fuck, you know, Obito's trying to reach. We have no idea what that could acquire to. There's no way to prove it's referring to his raw body stats and power itself. Like, that makes no fucking sense.
The Rinnegan is literally considered the eye of God, of a god. So it could literally just be like he thinks of himself, because it said he views himself as more towards perfection. Exactly. It could be just because now he has the eye of a god.
Like, you know, the Sage of Six Paths, that was the whole narrative emphasis or whatever you name it. Or better yet, he could be thinking he's now kind of like Madara, right, in a way, right? You know, because Madara had the Rinnegan, you know, and he thinks that Madara to be on a whole other level. So with Madara's power now being within his body, there's that too. So again, this could be many fucking things. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I apologize, guys. we might actually have to put this into 2 parts, you know, or maybe I'll do it into one whole video. We'll see. But I know we're only 8 minutes through, but they're saying a bunch of nonsense right now, bro. Like,
both of the Renegon because of the extremely potent chakra that they possess, and we know that Shinobi amped themselves and their jutsu with their chakra. So Obito with the white mask and with the Renegon,
not the eyes, the chakra in your body, but not the fucking eye in your socket. With that logic, that means Sasuke, when he turns on his Tomo Sharingan, that means he gets even stronger, like stat boost, whatever. Okay, what about Lee then? You know what I mean? Like, he was able to see Lee, but his body was too weak to react, whatever, blah, blah. Like, I'm sorry, but good luck proving that the MS or Sharingan or Rinnegan amplifies your fucking stats. Like, that's real, you know.
No, it amplifies your chakra.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like it's like to say your raw physical stats, that's really hard. Like, better yet, we have 5K Summit Sasuke. He does the MS, and he's not fast enough to fight against Raikage or anything like that. He still has to use, like, Susanoo and you name it, the whole 9. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's contentious value with it, but you just flat out say, oh, it's a guaranteed stat boost or whatever. There's no way to prove that definitively, bro. At all. And again, with Kakashi and Obito, it would technically do the opposite because, again, they're not the original user of the eye. Okay? They're not. It does the opposite.
And faster.
It drains
it literally, exactly. It drains their fucking chakra. And if you thought Obito's eye with Kakashi's bad, imagine Madara's Rinnegan with Obito. That's like Kakashi, but on steroids.
I'd say a very generous interpretation to Obito would be to scale his speed around the KCM1 level, like early KCM1 and version 1 Raikage. I think we scaled Obito pretty fairly. Like, he is, like Lightning Snow said, a juggernaut in his own right. But I guess we can start moving on to Kabuto here. Obviously, Kabuto's only fight throughout the series was fighting up against EMS Sasuke and Edo Itachi, which he actually performs extremely well against them. He's able to combat them, dodge their attacks on multiple occasions. He even dodges the Susanoo arrow at one point in time. And for those of you that don't know, the Susanoo arrow is extremely fast, possibly even a blitz tier above Sasuke's own physical movement speed, because during the Kage
Sasuke isn't that impressive at this point.
Yeah.
Able to
like, he's a 5 feet above, but like, where does Sasuke scale at this point in time?
That's the problem. We don't really know exactly how far Sasuke scales. Like, it's impressive because we know the arrow is really fast, but Danzo does react to the arrow with the wood style, and it diverts the arrow's, like, you know, speed. Now, to be fair, that's 5K, that's MS Sasuke, not EMS, you know. But at the end of the day, all I'm saying, like, it's we don't have enough evidence or definitive evidence to actually know exactly where the arrow is scaling. I'm just putting that out there. Like, we do know the Susanoo at least does scale to KCM, like, speed-wise, because of the V2 Raikage and all that. So you can maybe say, like, the arrow is, you know, like, KCM, you know, level, whatever, blah, blah, and that's whatever. And you could try to, like, go that direction, things like that. But another thing you also have to put into consideration, distance, so on and so forth, you name it. Like, the arrow, like, initially could be KCM level, but the more it's going through from distance, the slower it's getting. That's just how physics and math works. The more something is traveling through, the slower it's getting, so on and so forth. So basically where I'm getting at, to say it's retaining KCM speed at the entire time, I don't think so. It would only be KCM speed if you're right fucking in front of it. But if you're at a distance, which 9 out of 10 times, that's when Sasuke's shooting the fucking thing, okay, at that point, I don't think it has KCM speed. I think it doesn't retain it and it loses it at a certain point. And that's why, you know, even Kakashi's able to combo it or whatever. Even Danzo could use wood styles to divert its path, things like that. Sage Mode Kabuto can dodge it due to sensory, meaning Sage Mode Naruto could definitely do the same thing as well, so on and so forth. So, you know, that's just kind of where I'm getting at. You know, that's really all it is. But, you know, that's all I'd have to say. I don't know if you have anything on that, Ken, but
the only thing I have to say is I don't know where we're getting. It's a blitz tier above
that's not
Sasuke.
true. Yeah, no, yes, no.
It's faster than Sasuke, but being faster doesn't mean you're a blitz.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely not would be a blitz tier above. Like, the only time, like, we see where his Susanoo is a blitz tier above is when he's, like, activating it and activating, like, his Amaterasu. But that's jutsu activation speed. That's not, like, the Susanoo actually moving or the arrow moving. That's completely different. You know what I mean? And better yet, Danzo actually dodges one of the Susanoo attacks against Sasuke as well. And we know Danzo and Sasuke were going pretty relative the entire time, and whatnot as well. If anything, I think Danzo's actually faster than Sasuke because while Sasuke has his MS out, Danzo has a normal I out, and he's actually able to fucking still replicate the same feat and stab Sasuke. And when Sasuke has 3 Tomo out, and I think at that point Danzo has 3 Tomo as well, he was able to dodge a Shidori from Sasuke as well too. So bottom line is where I'm getting at. In some regard, they're all comparable with the Susanoo, whatever, blah, blah. The Susanoo is faster than Sasuke's body, but not like blitz tiers above, or an insane fucking gap. Like, if you actually analyze all the feats, it is in a similar regard. Because, again, Danzo is able to dodge one of the attacks from the Susanoo, too. So, that's all I'm getting at, you know what I mean? But, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. You had me dead with that. He had his normal eye out.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah. Obviously, I would all this bullshit out.
That's just not a statement you hear all the time.
Yeah, no, it was cracked. Like, I was like, no way this motherfucker is, like, winning against an MS precog. Like, that's fucking insane. I mean, yeah, here we go. Okay. We're in the right area.
No, I believe you. It just, I wasn't expecting to hear that today. Man had his normal eye out.
It is a little bit funny. Punch him on the cliff, he dodges it. Yeah, he dodges it right there. He doesn't get blitzed. See? And in the anime, he dodges it several more times as well. So again, like, it's a misconception. A lot of people actually think once he's in a Susanoo, he's blitzing Danzo the entire time. That's not true. It's just Danzo, like, didn't expect that at first, and it kind of, like, caught him off guard with how fast the Susanoo was, and that's why he was getting hit initially. But the moment he has a gauge and a feel for the speed, he amplifies his body further with his chakra, and then now he's able to keep up and not get one-shotted over and over.
In Danzo's defense, most people don't usually expect you to grow a whole other person.
Yeah, exactly. And then and also, which you guys also forget, which is even more impressive in Danzo, is he's losing a shit ton of fucking chakra when he's using Izanagi as well. So that's another thing. So he's getting weaker and weaker throughout. And to be fair, you could argue the same for Sasuke because he's using Susanoo, whatever, blah, blah. But I'm just saying, Another thing, when they were going to strike at each other, Sasuke had his MS out, and he still beat him to the punch and grabbed his fucking throat. And then the bird came, and then Sasuke was able to slice his ass and shit. So there's that too. Just forgot to mention that, but fucking he's able to blitz Sasuke before Sasuke could even touch him. And mind you, he has an MS out. Danzo only has a 3 Tomo out. Like, people underestimate Danzo, but this guy was strong, bro. A lot of people shit on him, but he was strong.
I mean, he was Hiruzen's rival.
Yeah. So he does like his arrow, whatever. He does like his arrow. He does hand signs. He's able to do Izanagi. I think it was before of how fast it was.
I mean, that just means he didn't even. You could argue he didn't even try to dodge the arrow then. He was already casting Izanagi.
It was right here. Loco always tries to rat. But Loco is like, the Susanoo is so fucking fast. It's completely above it, does whatever. Blah. At this moment, when he was already fighting, and he had to So Sasuke gets enraged, right? His Susanoo progresses even further. He screams to deal with the paralyzing seal, whatever. Danzo does like a wind style, and it does nothing to the Susanoo. So he did like a wind style, jumps away, and as he's moving back, you could clearly see he's moving back. Then Sasuke shoots the arrow, and he doesn't have enough time to weave the signs. But then, if that wasn't happening, but he does have time for jutsu activation to divert the arrow.
Bro grew a whole tree.
So he grows a tree, he diverts it, which that alone was taxing on Danzo's chakra. Even she said, it's like Danzo's chakra level just plunged. Why dodge Susanoo's attacks, especially at such a cost or whatever? So when he did all that wood style, that was a lot of chakra he just went through. Yet this guy is still, like, just outclassing Sasuke. And look at Sasuke. He's struggling. He's huffing and puffing. He's not even huffing and puffing. Now, to be fair, he does have Hashirama cells, but, again, it's still impressive. You got to give respect to Danzo.
Why did Danzo grow a tree again?
What's that?
Why did Danzo grow a tree
To
again?
divert the arrows, so it didn't hit him directly, because he didn't have Izanagi on when Sasuke shot the arrow. He had it off to like to save up chakra, so he could be able to fight Obito next. But yeah, that's the reason why he does. Yeah, he says it right here. I just managed to divert its path.
I'm sorry, just growing a whole tree was something I keep forgetting he can just do.
And then right here, this is what I'm talking about. So look, now he's doing the hand signs, and then he tries to hit him again, and now he's Izanagi. So like, he can do hand signs, and he clearly can react before getting blitzed again. Like, so Loco tries to make it seem like he just can't do anything at all now, whatever. That's not true either. He literally does multiple hand signs, now has Izanagi on just in case, okay? Because clearly at certain points, depending on distance or whatever you name it, then he can't deal with it and he will die. So to make sure that's avoided at all costs, he activates Izanagi. So just want to put that out there. So again, with the whole blitz tiers above, whatever, that's blatantly not the case and true. Danzo can deal with it to a certain regard. He's at least relative.
Susanoo arrow or move his hands quick enough to form hand seals and activate Izanagi. So honestly,
again, cherry picking fucking shit all the time. That's all you do. You cherry pick shit to make up a bullshit ass narrative.
Much faster than both Itachi and Sasuke. This is displayed on multiple occasions. He's dodging Sasuke's Chidori blade thing and ends up on the ceiling. The reason why this is relevant is because as soon as he arrives on the battlefield, EMS Sasuke is just kind of outperforming MKCM Naruto on multiple occasions. Actually, he's having to protect Naruto from Jubito strikes and is having to put up his Susanoo in order to protect him from True Seeker orbs. At the very least,
why is he talking about stronger Sasuke's?
I don't think he thinks that Sasuke is stronger.
Yeah, I know. That's the problem. He thinks the Sasuke in the beginning and the Sasuke in the middle of the war arc is the same. That's the fucking problem. Those are totally two different Sasukes. Everybody knows that Sasuke gets stronger from the beginning to the middle and then in the end. He's getting stronger the entire fucking time. Like, okay.
To downplay EMS Sasuke, he's like at relative to MKCM Naruto, and Kabuto is just some unquantifiable amount above that.
Knowledge is going to play a really handy part in this fight, at least when it comes to Kabuto. Kabuto is known to be like the intel guy anyway, so I think it's reasonable to assume, like maybe through the grapevine, that he's heard of how Toby passes through people whenever.
And I already showed it before, guys. He's not on KCM level. Like, he could be relative, but he's not on the actual level equal or above, because we literally see Itachi blitz him several times.
Knew that this guy wasn't Madara because he literally had Madara's body, so he knew that Toby was full of crap, and that he didn't know who he was. But he obviously knew that Toby was full of crap, so I think it's really reasonable to say that maybe through, like, you know, the grapevine, like I said earlier, like maybe Kabuto's heard a bit about how.
I'm sorry.
Obito.
Pause it real quick. Because they're being generous towards Kabuto here and being like, oh, he might have found out this because he's the info guy. But Obito has an info guy, Setsu, who goes around figuring out everything and all that. So they're giving Kabuto, like, information that we don't know if he would have, because Obito, you can argue he keeps them commonly hidden, or at least how it works. But, like, Zetsu sitting there, he obviously would be watching, like, someone like Kabuto and all that, because they do consider it somewhat of a threat. So, like, they would know about Sage Mode and all that. But for some reason, it's more likely that Kabuto would know, but Obito wouldn't. Like, how does that work?
That's weird. Yep.
Whereas, like, he passes through people and whatnot. So, for the most part,
like, it's clearly clear as day as they have bias for Kabuto and not for Obito. Like, they're not applying the equity, obviously. Alright, I'm not gonna show it, but Obito pulls up to the battlefield with Kamui, and summons the Ghetto statue, and it starts going like on a rampage. Then he gets the Kin and Gin tools, and then he just Kamui's away from there, including the Ghetto statue. So he's already using a shit ton of chakra there, while using the Rinnegan, mind you, like, you know, because of just having it on, because he can't turn it off, whatever. So it's Kakashi shit again. Then he gets the Jinchurikis, right? He's putting the rods into them, using his chakra to move them, whatever you name it. So he's losing all of that chakra, controlling them as well with his Sharingan, the Genjutsu them too. Because with the rods, like, he can control their movements, but he can't, like, control them fully, if that makes sense. he does need to use Sharingan Genjutsu in order to like subdue them and shit. So like he's doing all that, which is all nothing but draining chakra, right? And then after having his full-on fight with KCM Naruto and Killer B, then I'll show this as well. Let's pass away all of this. There we go. I think we're in business now. Yeah, this is when they start fighting. Because Obito was fighting them the entire time. But at this point, Obito is like extremely fucking fatigued, basically. Is where I'm getting at. So fucking punches the ghetto statue? That's funny. Damn! Now thinking about it, that's actually crazy. Like, you know how like people, everyone's like, oh my god, Butterfly Choji, you know, he's fighting the ghetto statue. Butterfly Choji couldn't even move the ghetto statue, yet KCM Naruto just does that shit effortlessly. Like, that's just how strong KCM Naruto is, bro. Motherfucker's cracked.
My favorite is when people say KCM Naruto and KCM 2 Naruto are about the same.
Yeah, it's insane to me. Obito is not even at full power. He is hella fatigued, while Naruto is at full power again, because he just did KCM 2, or whatever you name it. Some time goes by, he gets enough chakra, now he's in KCM 1, and Obito is still beating his ass. Look at this. He phases through, and then bam, hits him. You know?
That was casual,
Casually.
too. That was ridiculous.
Like, and he's not even at full power. Naruto is, bro. Like, oh, no, yeah. So this is what it is. And then look, Guy comes to the rescue. They're like going blow for blow. You name it, whatever. Yeah, so like, then Obito comes through, whatever. And then they try to have like their moment. He's doing comedy and stuff. Guy like blocks his attack from behind, whatever. Yeah, then he stopped the Kamui from happening when Kakashi did that. So like all this shit, bro. And you could, to be fair, you could also argue, because Guy and base is not fucking KCM level. So this Naruto's probably actually not at full KCM power, but he's just at enough power to where he's at least in a similar regard to Guy and Kakashi.
Don't you know, my base Guy is just him, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. So like all this is happening, but yeah, Obito's dealing with all this shit, fighting all these people, bro. And we're gonna get to the Rasengan moment. That's what I really wanted to look for. Right here. So it was a KCM Rasengan. So you were right. I thought it was KCM 2. Yeah, it hits his shoulder, and he doesn't even lose an arm. Look, he just bruises. Look, it
like
bruises
knocks him back, but he just
it bruises him. Man has like insane durability, bro, and he's not even at full power. Like remember when Minato hit him and he lost his arm completely? He just tanked that shit. He tanked the Rasengan. Like, calmly. He's doing shurikens or whatever. Killer Bee does like he blocks and protects Naruto. Naruto responds to it as well. This is also crazy here. Fucking KCM 2 Naruto charges with like a Biju and a Rasengan, whatever. Actually, no, it's a Rasengan. And Obito does a Kamui and just speed blitzes the KCM 2 Naruto. Like his Kamui jutsu activation was greater than KCM 2 Naruto. Well, actually, no. I'm tripping. No. Oh, that's what happened. Kakashi Kamui'd KCM 2 Naruto. And
he was comboing at the same time as well.
Yeah, he would have hit Naruto here. Like, he would have hit him. But Kakashi Kamui'd Naruto. Then when Naruto does the Biju Bomb, he, like, does Kamui, and then, yeah. Then that's when he hits him in the face with a KCM 2 Rasengan, and he doesn't die or anything.
He doesn't react to that at all. His mask just falls off, and that's about it.
Like, to the face, like, you know, a KCM2 Rasengan, even though, like, then you have what's it called? You know, like the arm with the KCM1, like, it's like, bro, this guy's cracked, and he's not even at full power. Like, you could tell, like, it did some damage to his face, but it really nothing. It's just bruise marks, you know. So, like, again, mind you, Orange Mask Obito is basically would be stronger than this, is what I'm getting at, okay? And the reason why is because this Obito is, like, extremely fucking fatigued. Extremely fatigued. Like, he just, you know, he gets, like, weaker and weaker the entire time. Like, he has Hashirama cells, which is, like, helping with his stamina and chakra, and probably refilling it at a pretty good rate, too. So that's also probably helping a lot. But...
Like, he always has those.
Yeah, exactly. So that's probably why...
That's just what it's on.
Yeah, that's probably why he hasn't been gassed out or died or anything, because the Hashirama cells are basically keeping up in a sense, like a tug of war. But that, like, this is a fatigued fucking Obito, bro. He's not even at full power. And Orange Mask would be above this. So it's like, I don't know, bro. Like, his Kamui speed is his Kamui speed is
there's no reason to argue they're not relevant.
Like, his Kamui speed is KCM2 level. Is basically what I'm getting at. KCM2 fucking level when it comes to, like, spitting out an object and using it as a weapon and shit, you know? Like, bro. So you're telling me...
And when it does, those weapons are really powerful. He was able to cut through Duki's tentacle.
Yeah, it was strong enough to where he used it against KCM Naruto to deal with him, you know? Fucking... So it's like, what, you think Sagemon Kabuto is KCM2 level? Like, come on, bro. Like, fucking...
There's some people who do. Don't give them the idea.
Oh my God.
Abilities and attacks don't really require physical contact, right? Undoubtedly, one of his best attacks is called Sage Art White Extreme Attack, in which he uses sound and light waves to paralyze his opponent. And you could just say, like, why wouldn't Obito be able to Kamui through this? Well, it's actually never shown that Obito is able to, like, use his phasing ability to become intangible when it comes to things like light waves and sound waves. It's actually stated in the data books that only the Jutsu caster is immune.
We see that, though.
Light extreme attack, and we've actually seen how Obito performs against light-based attacks.
What were you saying?
So whenever he uses Kamui, we see how the light, like, gets messed up when he uses Kamui. So that's just not even true. But even then, like, it's what I was saying earlier. When he uses Kamui, that part doesn't exist in that world. So how would, like, something like sound or light even touch something that's
in another dimension,
there?
exactly. So no, it wouldn't fucking work. His body parts are in a fucking other dimension, bro. like, this man's trying to say that shit is a win con on Obito. No, it's absolutely not. There's tons of evidence. If he does Kamui, which it would work, because the way Kamui works when he has it on, whatever body part basically is being affected, which would be his entire body at this point, he would literally just be in that dimension. Like, that's where everything is going to. So he would still be there, but all his body parts are in that dimension now, and it makes no fucking difference. What the fuck is he on about?
Great Shinobi War, he has to cover his eyes whenever the Cloud Ninja used their blinding attack. Obito was unable to, like, really do anything about it. It's not like he could phase through those light rays. He just kind of had to cover up his eyes and was blinded for a short
Or he just didn't feel the need to do
it.
I think that this ability would
still... Were they on top of the Ten Tails at that point in time?
Well, yeah, they were attached to the Ten Tails, yeah.
Yeah, so why would he like, you could argue that it was just because he was attached to the Ten Tails.
Exactly.
Or maybe he just didn't, like I said, he just didn't feel the need to. Because what are they going to do? They jump him? Okay, well, the Ten Tails packs him away.
Exactly.
And he could just become paralyzed. I think that's a very good win con for Kabuto, because EMS Sasuke was unable to keep his Susanoo up.
And even, sorry, last time I had you pause it. Even assuming he paralyzes him, we know even when you're paralyzed, you can still activate your jutsus that don't require hands. I actually talked to somebody about this the other day, but Itachi can still use his Susanoo and all that. So there's nothing to say, like, Obito, like, even once he gets physically paralyzed, you can't still activate Kamui.
Exactly.
And then what does Obito do?
Facts.
That Obito Kabuto.
I know Itachi was able to protect Sasuke from Kabuto when he bum rushed him, but the biggest thing is that like Itachi is an Edo Tensei, and they are heavily implied to not have the same control over their five senses as they used to have. Tobirama even outright states that their senses have been dulled. These Edo Tensei don't have the same control over their five senses. They can't feel the same things that alive flesh and blood people feel.
That's
So
not
it would
fucking. What the
Sorry.
fuck?
Oh, okay. I'll say that's true, but they're talking about like their ability to sense chakra. The five senses that the human body have are different than that sense.
Well, what he's referring, that's blatantly, I've read that. So what happens is Tobirama, like Hashirama just says, oh, like Tobirama, your senses have dull or whatever, blah blah, and that was because he's just been out of commission, out of battle for who knows how fucking long. It's not that it's in direct correlation to this is what Edo Tenseis have to deal with. It was just due to the fact that he hasn't been in battle for so long, and he's rusty basically. You know what I mean? Like. Like he's been dead and he's just rusty. That's all it was. But then the moment he realizes what's going on, he's like, oh yeah, like you're covered in Hashirama cells and everything and blah blah. No wonder, you know what I mean? So he is able to sense and see what's going on. He just didn't catch it right away, you know, and thought initially he could break out of Orochimaru's Edo Tensei binding, but Orochimaru had Hashirama cells. So that's not.
Yeah. Well, even giving, like, let's say for sake of argument, we grant him this argument. Those are two different, like, again, the ability to sense chakra is different than your five normal senses. They're not the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
and even then, what does that have to do with the ability to activate your ocular juice?
Exactly, in Kamui. Like, and then not only that, does he also forget that Itachi still could use Susanoo? Sasuke couldn't because he was still learning to use the EMS and, you know, its power and so on and so forth, you name it. But Itachi could. Like,
I think Sasuke was just overwhelmed with everything that was going on. Itachi is a lot better with thinking on his feet. Sasuke isn't that good at it.
To work on Obito.
The only thing that I can see Obito being able to do is activate Kamui in order to teleport himself into the Kamui dimension. I will say that I think that's more than likely possible, so he wouldn't be able to react as flawlessly. He might have to just like teleport himself into Kamui as soon as he gets blinded.
I would definitely lean towards White Rage would work on him and would paralyze him, leaving an opening for Kabuto, but once again, it's really what you think.
Like I said, his best chance of avoiding any kind of blitz from Kabuto is to teleport himself into
he
the
could
Kamui
teleport,
dimension.
he could also phase through the ground, like...
Yeah.
But
here's another thing that a lot of people don't like to think about. Obito can...
On his own.
There's just so much wrong with what that was just said. So one, Taiyu's Blue Genjutsu wouldn't hit Obito. Again, he can just Kamui his eardrum.
Exactly.
Two, let's say he hits him with it. So the fact that they were able to Genjutsu each other, like I said before, means they could still use their ocular abilities on the environment around.
Yep.
So he hits him with that. He just uses Kamui.
Yep. He could still use Kamui. And the reason why is because Itachi could still use Tsukiyomi, Sasuke could still use Genjutsu with his MS as well. So meaning you could still use MS abilities, meaning Obito could still do Kamui and he could just Kamui away, or better yet, his body would be intangible. So meaning he'll be in a Genjutsu, but his body would still be intangible. Like, you know.
And my third point, at this point in time, Obito has some of those powerful visual Genjutsu that we ever see. The man was strong enough that he was able to control a perfect Jinchuriki for years without any problem. Something that was thought to be impossible for anyone to do, even with like MS.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? So you could technically argue that the Tail Beast just didn't give a fuck for some reason, that he was like an incomplete perfect Jinchuriki, like kind of similar to still, you could argue that maybe potentially he could break out of it himself, whatever, but you know, even if that's not the case, his Kamui could still deal with that. And most importantly, like Ken said, he could just Kamui his fucking ears away or eardrums. Like the moment he sees that fucking flute, he can immediately just Kamui his body just in case, right? Because he sees it's a music instrument, right? So obviously it's going to play sound. He could literally just immediately use Kamui. Now he's phased, whatever. He could teleport away. Like, there's so many things Obito can do. Like, that's not a win con. You know what I mean? Like, bro, you want to know what Shikamaru did to Taiyo when she was resurrected in the war arc? He had earplugs. He literally put earplugs. And he was perfectly fine. And he was making fun of her and shit. So, just saying, you know?
It's just heavily implied that Itachi is one of the best Genjutsu users in the entire series, and EMS Sasuke is stated to surpass Itachi in all forms of dojutsu and ninjutsu, so his Genjutsu would likely be on the same tier as Itachi's at this point, and they still required each other's help to break out of it. So honestly, this one is just kind of like...
He just contradicted
GG.
himself. He said that Sasuke surpassed him in all forms or whatever, but he still needed Itachi's help. So how does that show he surpassed Itachi? If anything, that would show he's like equal to Genjutsu prowess with Itachi, but like at least at that point in time. But I would still say Itachi's Genjutsu would be over that Sasuke. So, but the saying, he kind of contradicted himself there. Like he basically contradicted himself with an objective feat to go over the statement again, which is why I don't like statements.
Kabuto.
I feel like even if Obito was somehow able to calm himself into the common dimension even after being caught in the Genjutsu, he's still in the Genjutsu. Like I don't see a reason why the Genjutsu would technically stop even if he's not like around Kabuto. I'm pretty sure he's still in the Genjutsu. So yeah, I agree. I think, and there's no way to disprove that Obito can't still hear things even if he makes his whole body intangible. So yeah, I think this is definitely a good win con for Kabuto.
What? Do they not know how science works? How do you hear something if your ears are not there? Like, what the fuck? Like, how does that work? You can't hear something if your ears aren't there. And again, even if he was affected, you could still use MS abilities. They literally just showed the feat. Like, what? Oh, man.
So, we've never really seen Obito combat
so we're at the halfway point. I know this video is probably going to be already as lengthy as it is. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't expect this reaction to be this long, but we had to stop it many times to refute all this stuff because this is just some shit, man. So what I'll do, because this video is already as long as it is, and knowing my luck, it's probably going to be so fucking, I don't know what else to expect. So I'll end this reaction here. We'll do the final part in the next one. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, subscribe for more content because of the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. What do you think so far? What are your guys' thoughts, whatever you name it? And obviously, we'll give our final thoughts and everything in the final one too. But bye now. Peace.